Here's the surprise episode of the day. We each get 3 minutes to nerd out on
our favorite thing,
our favorite, most nerdy thing.
Okay.
Like, hit us hard. Like, try to keep it slightly relatable, 10% relatable, 90% full nerd.
Okay.
Are you starting, or I think you should start? I'm going to get the timer. You got 3 minutes to just you got to convince me what is so amazing about
World of Warcraft.
World of Warcraft.
Okay.
And do you want to give any disclaimers before? Like, do you still play?
I haven't played in years.
Okay.
Yeah, but I've been thinking about going back, and I'd like to join a classic server. So, which means like the games was back in 2004. So basically, you've got a couple different.
Does this count as your nerd time?
Yes.
Tick. Starting.
Okay. So, World of Warcraft Classic, like it was back in 2004, 2005. You have two different factions, Horde and the Alliance, okay? So you can play if you're an Alliance, you'll play as a Night Elf, a human, a dwarf, or a gnome. If you play as a Horde, then you're either going to be a skeleton, the undead, an orc, the green guys, right? Big teeth. Mm-hmm. Trolls, which are lanky, they kind of walk slouched though, usually blue, long nose, also big tusks. And then the last one is, what am I forgetting here? Oh, the Tauren, the cows. They're minotaurs. So you can play as a warrior, you can play as a mage, you can play as a paladin or a shaman or a healer, the cleric class, or a hunter. Have I forgotten anybody? A fighter or a rogue. Okay, so you can pick first a race, and every race has different racials that you can pick from, right? So each race has its own racials that you can choose.
You can be as racial as you want.
I'm not explaining this very well. Each race has a different set of racials. So when you pick a race, you have these additional abilities that you have.
Okay.
So
nice.
For example, if you're undead, you have cannibalize. So if you kill or hurt, any humanoid, you can actually eat them like a zombie would, right? Mm-hmm. To give yourself more health, which is cool. If you are a night elf,
90 seconds.
Okay, you got to try it. It's the best game out there. It was played by millions of people. It's I would say one of the best games ever made. I'd say that and Skyrim are the two greatest games ever made. You ever played Skyrim?
I haven't played either.
Okay. Do you like video games? Do you play a lot of video games? I mean, we've done Contra a lot.
I do, but you can't ask until you've got one more minute of nerding. Like, let me ask you so you can keep being nerdy about it, because I'll be nerdy about mine. What's like the thing you love the most about the game? Like, when you're playing it, what are you like? What's the thing?
The thing that's so fun about the game, I think, is probably PvP, where you're playing against other characters. So they have these different areas you can go to where it's like a bunch of Horde members sign up, a bunch of Alliance sign up, and then you try to like control different areas, or capture the flag. So these different games you can play against each other. So you're using your skills, your ingenuity, your play style, your character to try to kill and control whatever it is you're trying to capture the flag or maintain these nodes against other people who are doing the same.
Nice.
So it's just a lot of fun. I don't know, it's exciting. It's something you got to try. I don't know if I can even explain it well. Have you ever played a PvP kind of game like Call of Duty or anything like that?
I've played StarCraft and Warcraft, and I played Call of Duty for sure.
So it's more like Call of Duty because it's first person.
Also, time's up, but you get your final, this is conclusion, so yeah.
Conclusion is...
Or this is synopsis / you can say anything you want, because now we're analyzing. Nerd time's over. Say anything you want.
World of Warcraft is still heralded as the greatest MMORPG ever created. A lot of people have tried to take the crown, but nobody has ever successfully done it. It's been played by millions. I mean, I think at the most it was 14 or 16 million people in its prime.
Wow.
So statistically, I would say everyone should at least try it once to see what it's like. Because it's just a really cool, immersive experience.
Can you even play it now?
You can. Blizzard released and has released classic versions of the game, but you kind of want to start fresh with the new server that's also starting classic, because if you jump in...
You just get destroyed.
Well, if you jump in, it's just... you're just starting a little bit behind the 8 ball because everyone else has got stuff built. They've got guilds. It's like trying to join. It's like moving to a new high school in the middle of the year. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
That's all. Dude. But they'll be releasing new classic servers at some point, so I'm waiting for that because I think I will join again. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
That's awesome. That'll be fun. Okay, my turn to be nerdy.
Yes.
I'm gonna go same genre here. Video games.
Okay.
Counter-Strike. Have you ever played?
Yeah. No, I never played Counter-Strike.
Have you seen?
Yeah.
So it's like Call of Duty, but like it's more like a chess version of it. And I only say chess because it's like heavy strategy. It's more about like slowing down and like creating a strat instead of just like run, shoot everyone and, curse as much as you can. And
then we see strategy. Am I allowed to ask questions? Can we ask questions?
Totally.
Okay. So is this like finding the right bush to hide in to snipe people? That kind of strategy?
No, dude, it's deeper.
Okay.
So the competitive version of the game, there's a bomb. There's like two teams, the SWAT team and the terrorist team. So they're coming in to lay a bomb at one of two bases. Mm-hmm. And so then the SWAT team is either trying to stop them from getting there, or if they do plant the bomb, they have to disarm it in time. So there's like a different strat, right? Where like one team can hold up and be defensive. The other team can kind of play to like, if all the SWAT team is on base A, then let's go to base B, right? There's this whole idea of like guessing where the other team's going to be. There's also the like money, you pay money to buy your guns. And so you'll get a certain amount of money for every kill that you get. So then you'll know if the other team did terrible last round, they have no money. And so you'll buy bigger guns to try and like take them over again. So they can't get enough money to buy real guns. So stuff like that. It also is built really well sound-wise, which I love. I'm a sound guy. And so you'll be like standing somewhere and you'll hear a noise and you can tell like what they're standing on and like the direction that they're in perfectly. And so there's this feeling, like if you know the maps well, I can be like around a corner and be like, oh, dude, he's standing on the car. I just heard him jump on the car and down. And so then you know like where to place yourself. So it makes it very competitive. There's a lot of like, the timer's going down slowly. You got 3 minutes or 2 minutes and you're just like waiting, for like, who's going to make the mistake? How do you jump out? Can you throw a flash grenade before you pop out? Or throw a flash grenade and run the other way and go around the other entrance to the base. So there's just a lot of strategy, a lot of team play. It's awesome. And there's a ton of toxic players on there. So it sucks. It's kind of you get the best and the worst, but it's a really exciting game. I might be over my 3 minutes. I have no idea. I love it. I really like I like a good team strategy. It's really fun when you can work together that way. So I think that's what I loved about it. It's like the team pressure, but the team success.
Okay. I have questions. Can I ask questions?
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
I'll try to be less nerdy since my 3 minutes are up. I'll just be normal now.
So I've heard Counter-Strike. I've heard it's very popular. Tell me, why is that? And I could be wrong about this, but I feel like it's less popular than Call of Duty. Mm-hmm. And I feel like it's less popular than Halo.
Oh, yeah.
Sarah, why would you say that is?
Yeah, I think Call of Duty and Halo are super accessible. Anyone can jump in and like you just run around and shoot. And you can have fun running around and shooting. You know what I mean? Like,
I see.
Yeah, just, even if you kind of lose, you're just going to like jump back up and play again and just go again. Counter-Strike is the consequence for death is way bigger. Like you got a 3 minute round. I think it might be 2 minutes or 3, but like once you die, you're done for that whole 3 minutes. You get one life. Oh. So I forgot to say that. That's why the pressure is so high. Because once your 4 or 5 team members are done, then boom, the other team gets a point. And so with that one life and then that waiting time of like, you got to wait for 3 minutes. If you die really quick, you got 3 to 4 minutes of doing nothing. There's sort of this feeling of like, well, I want to keep playing, so I want to get good. It's also a computer game, like PC. And I think you have way more potential for accuracy with a mouse. Controller, you're kind of swinging around. There's none of that. In Counter-Strike, people are like custom making their like aiming sight. Like they want it to look exactly how they want. They practice, like they call it a flick, where you just like pop over and shoot with the mouse. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So you have like fast reaction times. So people are like jumping around corners and just like boom, headshot like crazy. It's also more realistic, where a headshot is like you're done, depending on the gun. instead of like, oh, you get a few headshots, it'll be faster. Like it's a more, in some ways it's more realistic. And so people enjoy the pressure and the rush of like, this is so stressful and so exciting, you know, and like so much skill.
Sounds like there's a learning curve there too.
Yeah. So learning curve makes it less more accessible.
Steep. Yeah.
But the reward is more fun, I think.
That's interesting.
Okay. Yeah.
I like how you said you can really get into it. You get excited.
Dude, yeah. Here's what I used to do. Back when I like was running, I was single, working in my like own recording studio. So I'd have like jobs and you'd work a ton, right? Get a job, get a bunch of money. And then you'd have like a break where there was no job. And so there'd be days where like, I remember some of those evenings where I'd be like, cool, I'm going to Del Taco. Do you ever been to Del Taco?
Oh yeah. You can buy like half the menu and it's like $6.
Yeah, dude. I know you eat like a king every time. And then if you go on Taco Tuesday, you get like 3 tacos for $1. Ooh. So I'd buy like 15 tacos and just go home and just play and eat. And it was not a healthy lifestyle, but it was really fun. Like a good time to just like be a single dude that plays video games.
Yeah.
So yeah, pretty fun.
That was a lot of fun.
Speaking of that, the thing I always think of when I hear of Warcraft is I had a friend who apparently his brother who played it a lot. On his wedding night, I guess he played World of Warcraft instead of like consummating his marriage.
Are you serious?
And that was always like, is it really that addictive? You know, and it's like kind of a joke. I don't know. Bless his heart and all that stuff. No judgment. But like, dang, dude.
Okay, so what I think of. Here's the thing you got to understand. I don't think people understand this about World of Warcraft. When you get to the highest, or when you get to the end game, you've got a maxed out level character. They have these things called raids. So you have a guild, which means all these people come together and they work together to help everyone prepare to go on these raids.
And you like plan it in real time, right? Like tonight at 6.
Yes, because it takes, depending on the raid, it could be a couple hours. So, and then each boss is a little different. You can't just run in there and smack him. Like, you've got to have a plan. Everyone has to do different things. You have to have a strategy. If you just walked in there willy-nilly, you'd get killed, wiped out. And everyone's important. Like, you have to have someone who tanks. You have to have someone who heals. You have to have, and we're talking like, some of these are 20 man. Some of these are 40 man. Like, you can't beat this boss unless there's 40 of you.
That's crazy.
So what happens is one of you is like, well, I'm going to go get married. And they're like, okay, so are we just not going to raid this week, this month? Like, how does it work? And so there's a lot of pressure to be like, look, you got 39 other people depending on you, waiting on you to make this run work. And then when the boss dies, he drops 4 or 5 pieces of gear that you then have to like figure out and spread amongst 40 of you.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And everyone wears like lots of different pieces of gear. So there's people are fighting. This is called BOS, or best in slot. BIS. And so let's say it's you and there's no guarantee anything's going to drop for you anyway, right? Or it might not be what you want. So it's all, RNG or a random number generated. So you don't even know what you're going to get at. So if you get the thing you want, let's say the thing you wanted finally drops from this boss. It's your 10th time killing him, right? This thing finally drops. Now you've got to compete because it's a 40-man raid with the other 5 other characters that are the same as you. So if you're a cleric and you're healing the group, there are 4 other clerics that are healing the group. So which cleric gets it? So there's this real, like, you talked about teamwork and strategy. That's in World of Warcraft as well. You have to have a team. You have to work with strategy. And you have to build real relationships with people in order to defeat these these raid bosses that the game puts in front of you. So there are different levels. I think that's what makes World of Warcraft really great, is that it has something for everybody. You can go in there and you can build a team and you can go and fight end game bosses that the regular player isn't going to be able to ever see or play or beat, because you need a team. You need to have high level people. You have to have training. People need to know what to do, a strategy. It takes a lot, right? Or if you don't want to do that, you can just play for fun, play by yourself, explore. The world is huge. I've never seen it all. And I've sunk a lot of hours into the game, and I've still never seen it all. Or you could go the other way and decide you just want to be PvP. and you just run into these little arenas, and you can fight against other people.
Just like 1v1.
You can do 1v1, or sometimes it's like 10 versus 1, or sometimes it can be even bigger numbers. You can get 20 or more, depending on which group, which arena you join. So if you join the capture the flag, that's like 10 on 10. If you do the arena, the basin where you have to control the nodes, I think it's like maybe 15 on 15. It's been a while. But then there are other ones you do that are even more.
Gotcha.
So it's involved. It's cool. Really involved.
Let's switch over for a second and talk about one of our favorite games that we play together. Contra, yeah, dude. And what is it? Contra 3?
Yeah, I think it's Super Contra. Something.
It's the one that's the funnest.
Yeah.
Super fun. When we feel like we've worked hard and we're like, dude, it's time to go celebrate, play some Contra. Yep. We our current record is beating it at. We can beat it on medium. Can we beat it on hard yet?
I think we've beat it on hard, but we've used some cheats.
So like we've almost beat it on hard. We can for sure beat it on medium. It's kind of it's not a cakewalk, but it's close to a cakewalk.
Yeah.
Like if we're in the zone, it's easy.
Yeah.
I'll say that.
Yeah. I think we beat it without a continue.
Yeah.
On medium.
Great game. SNES. I don't know if anyone out there plays those games, but some other favorites. Any other favorite games? I love Mario Kart.
I love Mario Kart. I love RPGs, so I'm a huge RPG fan. I still, to this day, I would say the pinnacle of a good RPG is still Chrono Trigger.
Yeah, most people haven't even heard of. I mean, I haven't heard of that.
See, I think that's the best one. Chrono Trigger, yeah, so good. And I'd say the Final Fantasies. Final Fantasy for the American release 2 and 3 are still some of my favorites. Final Fantasy 7 is another one. That's
so many.
Yeah.
How many are there? Like 15?
There's more that weren't released to the US that were done or released in Japan.
Gotcha.
And that's where things get a little tricky when you talk about it, because Final Fantasy 2 for America is not the same as Final Fantasy 2 for Japan, and so on and so forth. So
gotcha.
It would have been great. Like, I like that they did the number. Like, I like that they kept the Final Fantasy name going and created that brand awareness, which was great. I just wish they would have done a subtitle. Do you know what I mean?
No.
So you know which one you're talking about, because the numbers get really confusing.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Smash Bros. I love that one.
Smash Bros. Is a lot of fun.
That one, I've put a lot of hours into Smash Bros.
Tell me a sleeper game that you love that not a lot of people know about.
Dude, I don't know what a sleeper game means.
Sleeper game is a game that you love, right? That you play a lot. But other people, when you talk to them, are like, yeah, I don't know if I've heard that game. We're like, oh, you should try it. It's called the sleeper, because the people who know it, who've played it, love it. But a lot of people haven't heard of it for whatever reason.
They're like asleep to it. Honestly, I might have to ask you first, because I would just say Counter-Strike, or there's a Kirby game. I could say Donkey Kong Country, but most people know that one. There's a Kirby golf kind of game. Like, it's like pool mixed with golf. I actually got super good at it. I love it. Me and my roommates,
you were showing me that one, right? It's on Super NES. Super
NES. Yeah, me and my roommates would play it and just have a great time. Lots of screaming, yelling. It's like a really low graphic game to be excited about, but I love that one. How about you?
I'd say the original XCOM was one of my all-time favorite games.
I haven't heard of that.
They've done spin-offs of it, but none are quite as good as I feel like the original was. The original XCOM, these extraterrestrials come to Earth, and you've been funded by different countries to create a resistance. So you try to battle them in the air, you down their spacecrafts, then you go and you try to kill the aliens, and then you take everything back to your base. So you study the aliens to learn their weaknesses, their anatomy. You study their technology to try to, implement it yourself. So as you're playing the game, you're increasing in your awareness of the enemies as well as their technology. So you start building better ships to infiltrate them in the sky, or to bring them down. There are better weapons to shoot them and that kind of thing.
What system is this on?
This was on the PlayStation, the original PlayStation.
Dude,
so it's old.
PlayStation is like a sleeper system in a way. No one knows. I mean, it's just old.
So most people don't know that the entire system was offered to Sega, and Sega turned it down.
That's right. And now Sega's dead, right?
Sega's dead. But the PlayStation is, and those games that came out on the PlayStation were revolutionary. That was the Metal Gear Solid. That's one of the all-time best Metal Gears, I think, in the franchise. I love that game. Fell in love with it. That's the same iteration of the main character. I forget his name. That they show in Super Smash Brothers 2. It's that version of Snake.
Oh, dude, I didn't even know the game.
Yeah, okay. That's Metal Gear.
Nice.
Yeah. The original Metal Gear came out for the 8-bit Nintendo. I rented it as a kid from the store. I remember, and we couldn't get past the first area because we kept trying to fight the soldiers, which you can't fight. You have no weapons to start with. So you're supposed to infiltrate without being seen. The whole idea isn't to like beat everybody. It's to, sneak around. Yeah.
Dude, wow.
But when you rent the game, you don't know anything about it, right?
Yeah.
So all we had was just the cartridge. We're just looking at the sticker on the top and we just plugged it in.
You got 7 days to figure it out or whatever, 3 days.
Yeah, we're just like, well, this game sucks.
I forgot about renting games. That reminds me of renting like Looney Tunes basketball. For some reason, it was so fun. Everyone had a superpower. So like Taz, Manian Devil, whatever, would like spin like a tornado. And like, I'm sure the game's not that fun, but back then it felt magical. Like you're just so in it and you could get so good at it. And anyway, that was fun. It's like around the Space Jam time. Probably the Space Jam.
It probably was.
Looney Tunes. Wow. I didn't even know that. Dude, pretty fun. Any final nerd video game moments? I feel like it would be fun to just talk about our nerdy video game thoughts because that's part of being a man is loving stuff. And
having hobbies.
Yeah, and I think sometimes for men, there is this feeling of like, oh, it's not cool to be passionate about something. Or there's this lie that we say like, oh, men are supposed to be so stoic that you're not like excited about something. You don't feel like a little kid about something. So I think it's awesome to step into that and remember like there's been a lot of fun stuff growing up, Yeah. It was a good time.
I also feel like there's this idea that if you enjoy what you're doing or take time for yourself to enjoy your hobbies, that you're somehow neglecting your responsibilities to your wife and your family.
Dude. That lazy playing video games, whatever.
Yeah. And that's not true. I think if you're not taking time to enjoy your life, then what's it all for? I mean, you can spend your life sacrificing for your family all your life, but what's that going to do to you as a person? I think that would make me more of a robot. Like I wouldn't have any passion. My life would just be, dedicated to doing what I think everyone else expects of me, and that is no life to live.
It's kind of like a weird MLM because think about like if that's the real truth that you're supposed to do what other people expect, and then what you're going to teach your kids to do the same thing, or like teach your sons especially like boys
you're not allowed to have hobbies, you're not allowed to have passions, you're not allowed to have fun or enjoy your life.
Dude, yeah, you just need to
work till you die.
Grow up and be a responsible man. And as we pass that message down the generations, you're going to get less happy and less joy in each generation.
Do you think that's what's happened here in our culture?
Dude, I totally feel like men have forgotten how to have joy. And it could sound like I'm saying that critically. I'm saying like I am a man who has struggled to feel joy at times. It's really easy to get, it's like we're part of a system. We talked about this today. It's easy to get sucked into the system and feel like there's not even room for me to question what I desire. It's just like, who cares? Just like get money and support your family, and I hear other people say that all the time. I'll reference like how much I want to work in something I'm passionate about. And I hear all the time people say like, oh, but you got to just get the work done, right? Like you got to just make, at the end of the day, work is supposed to be work. And it's like, dude, who told you that lie that you can't have a fun life? Anyway.
No, I love that. It reminds me of a story of, what's his name from the Beatles? John Lennon. He said that he was in school one time and his teacher asked him, what do you want to be when you grow up? And he says, happy. And she turned to him and said, I don't think you understand the assignment. And he turned and says, I don't think you understand life.
That's crazy. I've heard that, but it fits.
It just, wow. I think we're living in a society that's done exactly what you said. I think the baby boomers came home, their parents were in World War II, and there was this big focus on duty. And I think no one knew about PTSD or some of the concerns that, and some of the issues that the soldiers came home with. And I think this militaristic, duty-focused idea was passed on to the baby boomers, who then passed it on to the other generations. And I think especially the men have lost the ability to, or our society no longer embraces or kind of turns a blind eye to the desires and the happiness of men.
Yeah. Dude, yeah, I'm sure. I think we'll go deeper into this in a future episode, but I feel like this is a great opportunity to check in with yourself and say, like, am I giving myself time and space to have joy, to enjoy my life? Am I, somehow this is connected to like being vulnerable, like letting yourself just be a human instead of like, oh, I need to be a robot, or, I need to be whatever it is. I need to be a strong man that has no emotions. Instead, like, are you allowing yourself to play and to have fun and to be a kid at times and to connect with people and be vulnerable, all that stuff, to be excited about something?
I like that. And there's this weird thing in society where you shouldn't be enjoying yourself. And if we do find you enjoying yourself, that's like a double demerit or something. Like, it feels like if you're going to play and you're going to do your hobbies, then it can only be late at night after everyone's asleep, after there's no possible more work that can be done. Like, we see this meme all the time where as soon as the man sits down, the wife's like, honey, I need you to do this. And he just pops up and goes and does it. And I was like, what would it look like if you said, actually, I'm taking some time for me right now because I'm important. Dude. So I'm not going to do the dishes or take out the trash right now.
I mean, that's a whole can of worms. I don't know. Yeah. Should we dive into that right now? Or I feel like there's maybe an entire episode
podcast on that one. Yeah.
That's scary for a lot of men.
Oh,
that's the thing we're scared of is that.
Yeah.
But I think there is a true version of that will be so beneficial to yourself, to your wife, to your kids, to everyone. Like, it's just a joyful way to live.
What if you were the father that inspired and gave joy and that example to your wife and to your kids? Like, what would that do if every man lived in a way that he loved life, that he wasn't just doing his duty, but he did what he did because he loved it, because he loved his family? And I'm not saying people don't, but I'm saying that there's a different energy when you're living your life out of joy and excitement and love instead of drudgery, work, and a to-do list that you're constantly checking off that you never finish.
100%. Dude, I love that. If you're cool with that, I want to say let's leave that cliffhanger of like, a future episode is going to really deep dive on that and encapsulate some of the conversations we've been having around that.
That sounds good.
All right. Go get them, boys. No, just kidding. Go play. Go have some fun. We'll see you on the next one.
Boys in blue.
What does that mean? Boys in
World Blue? Of Warcraft. It means go for the Alliance.
All right.
The boys in blue.
Boys in blue. Awesome.
Thanks so much for watching our podcast. We appreciate it. And if you feel the call to heal the world,
starting with yourself, we invite you to join our men's group, True Masculinity. The options and details are in the show notes.
We'll see you there.